Good day, good day. Welcome everyone. Have you ever wondered how to speak up for yourself? In my past, I have been in situations where I've needed to speak up for myself, but I didn't have the right tools to do that. So it's important for us to share these things, so when we are in a situation like this where we need to speak up and use our voice, we know how to do that because we have an emotional toolbox and we can use the right tools to adjust the situation. So I wanted to thank you for joining me by the tree of life, with the birds chirping, with the wind waving in, breathing in that awesome oxygen, with the sun kissing us on the cheek, because it's a beautiful day. And speaking up for ourselves without trying to start an argument is crucial. And we can use these things to really ground ourselves, to know that I didn't do anything wrong, and I can adjust the situation in a positive way when someone's trying to be negative. So I need to speak up for myself. So the first thing that we need to do in a situation where we need to speak up for ourselves is to think. T is for, is it true? H, is it helpful? I, is it inspiring? N, is it necessary? And K, is it kind? THINK, think. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Because we need a true statement. We need a helpful statement. We need an inspiring statement, a necessary one, and also a kind statement. These are the grand things, the most grand things of all, that we need to speak up for ourselves. So first thing, we need to think about what we want to say and what we want to happen. So when we do this, we feel better about the situation because it's no longer a negative one. We're turning this into a positive one when we think with truthfulness, to knowing that it's helpful, it's going to inspire, it's going to be necessary, and it's going to be kind. So the second thing we need to do after we think is to start with what we want to say instead. So when we start with what you want to say and what you want and what you don't want, then you can avoid putting that other person on the defense and even empowering them to make negative changes, because we want to empower them to make positive changes. That's why we thought it through, and we want to start the situation by creating a positive atmosphere by stating what we want to happen and what we don't want to happen. So gaining that strength back, that inner tranquility, remaining calm in a situation where you need to speak up for yourself. Which leads us into the third concept, which is to don't assume that you're going to get a negative response. We want to create a positive atmosphere. So to do that, we must think by understanding that we could possibly have a positive change. So don't think about a negative change, because you will receive a positive one. If you are going to think about negative consequences, it is possible for those negative consequences to occur. And that can lead to bottling up feelings and emotions that can potentially have us explode. And you don't want to explode in a situation where you want to take your strength back, where you want to speak up for yourself. So that isn't really helpful for anyone or yourself to express explosive behavior. So remain calm. Think about the positive things that can happen. There are good. If you are a good person, I talk about this all the time, there's a boomerang with the law of nature. If you are good and you throw that boomerang, that's going to come back to you in threefold. But if you are negative, that boomerang's going to come back and it's going to make your entire world broken glass. So remember to use your feelings in a positive light. And this brings us to the fourth key, the fourth concept, to speak up for ourselves, which is to use things like, I feel sad, I feel upset, I feel uncomfortable, those kinds of statements. Because when you use those kind of statements without blaming the other person, it can really avoid uninvited engagement into disruptive behavior. So remember, you can express the way that you're feeling, and you can even tell someone to stop, because you're speaking up for yourself, even if it's someone who's very difficult to speak to. Because if you know you did not do anything wrong, and you are expressing how you feel without blaming anyone, because you are responsible for your emotions, because you want to respond, you don't want to react. When you react, that is the other person potentially manipulating you to react a certain way, because that's how they feel. It's a mirrored effect. So remember to think, to really think about what you want and how you can get it. Think about how you don't want to assume that you will get a negative behavior. You want to assume you'll get a positive one. And remember to use I feel type of statements. And this is the truthfulness and the most inspiring thing that you can do to help yourself in any kind of necessary situation where you need to speak up for yourself, because you can do that. So take back your power. And I wanted to thank you for joining me by the tree of life, with the birds chirping, when the wind waving in, breathing in that awesome oxygen. Even the sun coming down, kissing us on the cheek right here, I see it. So thank you for joining me and being a part of this experience on calmness and tranquility. Have a fantastic day.